Welcome to Average Joe's Fantasy Sports Podcast, where we bring you news, notes, and more to help you win your championship fantasy football league. Stay tuned and listen in for the great information we have for you today.
Welcome to another episode of the Average Joe's Fantasy Sports Podcast,
See those numbers clear.
where it is the second part of the recaps for Week 10.
Sorry, y'all.
So, let's see. We are going to start off with Minnesota versus Washington. This was going to be one of those kind of matchups where you had fairly good players on each side and see who was going to go off. Kirk Cousins, you know how Kirk Cousins has been all year. You expected him to go off pretty well. And then Case Keenum. What a huge surprise.
Yeah, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, you know?
He's got the team though. Like, straight up. So Case Keenum was 21 for 29. 304 yards and 4 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. 1 interception he could have avoided. He just threw it up there. I don't know why he did that.
He just chucked it up.
That was terrible. Throw it out of bounds. If you can't see anything, throw it out of bounds. You should know better. But his QB rating ended up being 117, so that's not bad at all.
Nope.
Latavius Murray was your highest rusher. He was 17 attempts for 68 yards and a touchdown. So that probably came.
It looked good on that big one that he had too.
Yeah, he did look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. The old Oakland Raiders, so I give him props. I like him. I still miss him.
Sometimes he's actually learning to hit the right hole here in Minnesota. Oakland, he just hopefully got lucky.
Got goal lines. Basically what Marshawn Lynch is doing right now. So, dirty, cheap plays, but gets the job done. McKinnon, even though he's stepped up this year, he had 10 attempts for 32 yards. Not great, but only on 10 attempts. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to really get to see the ball as much.
Latavius took over that one.
Yeah.
So Latavius' game. Also, with them being up a lot, they were trying to kill some clock in the middle. Then Washington made some moves and we better keep moving. And then so it's just went the clock kill. Then they had to go back into aggressive mode, which...
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the receivers...
both balled out.
I would have to say they had a day. Give them a day, you know? Straight up. Adam Thielen was a heartbreaker for me. I had to play against that guy. He put up fantasy points.
He did.
8 receptions for 166 yards and a touch. That killed me. But then, Stephon Diggs. 4 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown. That also killed me. But, hey, gotta move on, right? Week 11 now. You got Wright, 1 reception for 7 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
And then Morgan, looks like he might have been the other tight end.
He was. He got that third tight end.
Third tight end, wow.
He's a third tight end. But they snuck him out. He was there to block him with a fake block. Came out, leaked out right from Case Keenum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that play.
That was a beautiful play.
It was.
1 reception for that 1 yard and that 1 touch. So,
Yep.
What do you know? But,
people were getting touchdowns all over the place. They could have did that play with Kyle Rudolph. People probably started Kyle Rudolph are probably a little bit disappointed. But it is what it is.
Now you see that the stats of Case Keenum and all these touchdowns, and you're thinking, oh, it's a blowout. Straight up blowout. Nope. Kirk Cousins rallied his team. 26 for 45, 327, a touchdown, but 1 interception. He didn't look too great, but he did almost lead his team back, so that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
P. Ryan, 9 attempts for 35 yards, not the greatest. Chris Thompson, not great either, 9 attempts for 26.
Here's the thing, though. Kirk Cousins, 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yes, it's true.
So
if you had him,
where his receivers couldn't get done because there was a play where this could have changed Josh Doxson's fantasy value. Josh Doxson did a perfect route, a whip route, but then he slipped.
He did.
He like got overzealous and whatever, got excited, went, made his whip, and fell. That would have been an easy touchdown. That would have looked different in the stat sheet if he had passed it.
Yep, and they probably would have been in the game even better.
And it would have changed the value of Josh Doxson.
Yep.
Now, the other one was also the Josh Doxson down the middle, but this one was Kirk Cousins' fault because he way overthrew him. Josh Doxson could have had 2 scores in that one.
That would have been a game changer.
So it's getting there for Josh Doxson for anybody who's, if he's open in your waivers, because we're going to toss you some waivers throughout this. If he's open in your waivers, probably pick him up. You know, if you're desperate, you got injuries, things like that are going on, you might need somebody. He could be somebody. So
now, good question here is Rob Kelly is actually going to be ruled out.
Yeah, he's on IR.
He is on IR, which I had him on my bench. I didn't need to use him, but I had him on my bench, and I got the update saying he was on IR. Do you think P. Ryan's going to take over, or is?
I heard something about P. Ryan. I heard something about Ronnie Hillman too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Giving that guy a chance. See what
showing
happens.
how desperate they are.
I mean, give something new where the defense doesn't have any video on him, doesn't know anything.
I mean, there's history of Ronnie Hillman though in Denver, so.
True. It's okay. Gotcha. Okay. We'll see about that. I mean, obviously, Chris Thompson.
Yeah, they're just working it out right now, so maybe not.
P. Ryan's going to still be in there, getting the touches. Just look up your game logs, the updates. Look up on your waiver wires, free agency. Kind of look what the updates are.
Mm-hmm.
Back to we'll go to the receivers now. Jameson Crowder looked pretty good. 4 receptions for 76 yards.
But they had so many drops between the receivers. The only team that was probably worse with those drops was who was it? Last night. Oh, Camp Squad. They were dropping some left and right at the beginning. That was pretty bad to watch. Then they figured it out, but
we'll get to that one later.
Yeah.
But Vernon Davis showed up. I just don't know why they don't give him more.
Yeah.
7 receptions for also 76 yards. Chris Thompson was also involved. 3 receptions for 41 yards. Gave you some pretty good fantasy points. Like you said, Doxson, he had 4 receptions for 30 yards. If he had those couple touchdowns, we'd be looking at a different stat. But
we would be.
But it looks like the Vikings did come out 38-30. But again, if those touchdowns were touchdowns, probably would be looking at a loss for the Vikings.
Yep, it was close. Close for some of them. They had plenty of goal line looks, and they can get to the goal line, so trust your Redskins. They can get there.
You can.
So,
Kirk Cousins, man. There's something about him, man. Like,
he's figuring it out.
He really is, man. He really is.
Also, if you get kicker Nick Rose, it's perfect.
Yeah,
man. kickers are people
3
for 3 on field goals.
Now, I don't understand this. I have Kai Forbath. Okay? He's a great kicker for the Vikings. I mean, on my fantasy league, people are dropping him. I don't know why. I don't think he missed
because they score touchdowns.
Yeah, but, I mean, if you got any of the Vikings, that's fine. But I guess you're right.
You'd be getting 1 point for PAT. You need people who can't necessarily do it in the red zone.
He still gave you 10 points.
It's solid.
It is
very
solid. Because, what is it? Rose gave you 14.
It could be a game changer.
Can be, but I don't know. Forbath, I mean, they'll have their chances. I mean, I think they play against Seattle. I think, I'm not sure. That's
what? Who does?
The Vikings at one point. I'm not sure. No, they play against Atlanta, Carolina. I could be wrong.
You're crazy, dog. Moving on though, Jets, Buccaneers. Let's go.
I'm wrong.
The New York Jets kind of a letdown overall, except for Robbie Anderson. And late in the game, he went 4 of 7 targets for a touchdown or for 85 yards and a touchdown. So that late game bomb really saved you guys. If you started Robbie Anderson, fine. I mean, it worked out. But if you guys started Josh McCown, Scott, didn't really work out in your favor.
Look, I'm cursed this year.
With quarterbacks, yeah.
Because, I mean, there's just so many dang injuries in this league this year that everyone's just falling apart. And
It's your fault. The curse of horse.
Mm-hmm.
Curse of horse.
I'm hurting.
You're hurting everybody else, Scott. That's what's really happening.
Sorry.
For anybody who started ASJ, those 6 for 67, man, anybody's happy about that. That's the most yards I think he's gotten in a long time.
I
He
think
doesn't
so.
usually get yards.
He
Usually gets like 20 to 40. So,
didn't help you last week, I think, right?
now I dropped him when I picked up somebody else.
Or 2 weeks ago.
I picked up Greg Olsen. Whenever Seattle was on bye, and I had to put him in for Greg Olsen or for Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy
So,
Graham. Got you.
that was a buzzkill. Now, moving on though, because there's not really a lot going on as far as like fantasy value. Blip Hall let you down. Elijah McGuire probably did the best. He's been a waiver ad, but 4 receptions, 36 yards, and 22 rush yards on the day on how many carries? 8 carries. So 3 yards per carry, less than that actually. So none of them were great.
Yeah, I don't get this.
Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick though, also a letdown. So he went 187 for 1 TD and 1 pick, which was fine. But Sean Jackson, with a lack of Mike Evans, went 6 for 82, so 14.2 fantasy points. So that's kind of nice. Chris Goodwin showed up there, 5 for 68, and also replacement of Mike Evans. So, but with him coming back, don't look into Goodwin too much. I mean, we'll see if he shows up a second game with Evans in there. We'll start to talk about that. But till then, it's nothing to really worry about. But you can keep him on the radar. You can keep a lot of people on the radar.
Right.
And Charles Sims outdid Doug Martin because Doug Martin again went like 20 for 51. He was atrocious in the running. The volume's there, but the line, the offense, stagnant. So
They were even saying that he might not even be there next year, so they're probably going to be moving on from Doug Martin.
they will. I don't know who they're going to move on to, but they'll be moving on to someone. So, and Charles Sims was the leader here. 20 rush yards, but 3 targets, 1 receiving touchdown, 10 yards. So, nothing going on for fantasy value out there. I'm getting out of that because that's a nightmare. Let's go to Houston. Let's go to LA. Let's talk about these two. Tom Savage is terrible.
Now, I feel like
Tom Savage is terrible? Yeah.
LA shouldn't deserve the Rams.
Because how they show out?
Yeah. The Rams.
Well, don't forget they also have the Chargers, so it basically balances out to nothing.
But it's just sad because this team is phenomenal right now.
Yeah.
And for the fans not to even show up, it's kind of pathetic.
Were the fans not there for this game?
No, there was so many empty seats.
Mm.
Yeah, it's bad.
Coliseum isn't that popping.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's talk about the Savage. The
Less than
Savage.
The less than Savage.
The Savage. Tom Savage.
No, the less than Savage.
Oh. Okay.
The not so savage.
Well, he completed only 18 of his 36 attempts.
50% terrible.
Yeah. 221, 1 touchdown, but 2 INTs.
Wow.
That pretty much shows
Legendary.
he's savage.
How bad? How bad can you be till the coach just says we gotta move on? Bill O'Brien just will not let it go.
Bill O'Brien is also dumb. Because why would you stick with somebody that obviously...
They should call Brian Hoyer back. Oh, and now Will Fuller's down, so...
That's true.
Rib injury.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll give you updates on that tomorrow. But DeAndre Hopkins is all that's left. Them and Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller actually played pretty well. Speaking of,
Go ahead.
let's get to him. So, yeah, he may have only got you 8 points, but he ran for 60 yards. And he had a 14-yard reception. He actually was looking good running because it was 11 for 60, so he was effective.
Right.
His first run, he took off like 15 yards or whatever it was.
21.
So 21 yards.
Yeah, that's his longest.
Is that the first one, though?
I'm not sure if that was the first one. But it said
Either way, he had one that was like 21, and obviously then there's like another like, 12 to 15 yarder in there. So
still good.
Broke off some good runs. So
Yeah.
he's actually looking good. So the offense is going to have to run through him and Hopkins. That's how it's going to have to be.
It just sucks, man. Like, Deshaun Watson's changing that team around for sure.
He was. But DeAndre Hopkins still showed up, 111 and on 7 receptions. So
Now, since Fuller is going to be out, do you think Ellington right here?
Bruce,
Yeah. Do you think he's going to be?
you have to be.
Maybe
It's
a starter.
he's going to be. He's number 3, so he has to be.
Somebody to pick up on the waiver wires if you're
If you
struggling.
need it, look, anybody can have value if your team needs a spark. You know?
I mean, he did get the touchdown. So 4 for 41 and 1 touchdown for Ellington. I mean, if you're playing against a Hopkins and you need somebody, maybe the second guy,
Yeah.
try to beat Hopkins. I don't know. I mean, Ellington can
You
definitely
need
help
desperate
you.
for desperate. Now,
Right.
let's go away from these people. Let's go to the fantasy spark, the live wires this year. The people who have doubled their points per game compared to last year.
Dude,
Insane. Nobody just doubles like that. Jinx, you owe me a drink. I'll take it. Jared Goff still firing on all cylinders right now. 355 passing yards, 3 touchdowns on 25 of 37, so still efficient as well. What? UCLA, though, you should be happy. No, Cal. Sorry, Cal. I always say that. Cal. Sorry, Cal. It's my bad. You Cal. You owe me a pop.
Fine. All you.
Awesome.
Yes.
What a great thing. So, but with the help of that, we also have Todd Gurley, who also assists in that 68 rush yards on 11 carries. Nice. We'll take that. Man, and then he got 6 receptions for 68 yards on 7 targets. He's getting the ball tossed to him all over, and he's looking good. Old Todd Gurley, rookie year Todd Gurley. Might even better than that Todd
That's
Gurley.
awesome. Put somebody that can actually.
In that league, I'm on an 8-game win streak.
I really hope you lose next week.
I might.
Good.
There's always a chance to lose, baby.
I really hope you lose.
But we got Le'Veon and Todd Gurley.
That means nothing. They
That
can
means
all
a
have-
lot of
They
something.
can have a bad game. So.
Yeah, but their bad game is like everybody else's good game.
So let's go ahead and get to the receiving end here.
No, it's not.
Robert Woods.
I'm not done talking about my team yet.
Oh.
I also got Michael Thomas. He's pretty awesome. I got Jimmy Graham too. 2 touchdowns. I got Greg Olsen waiting to come back. To dominate. Wait, hold on, I'm not done. Guess who my quarterbacks are? Kirk Cousins. Oh wait, I got one more. Even better. Carson Wentz. Bro, like
I feel like our league is like corrupted.
yo, I got Kenny Drake too. 60-yard run. Killed it.
But you still lost to the last place player.
And Pac-12.
Impact 12, that's true.
But guess what? I crushed with the highest score in MSP. Highest margin of victory. Big Baller went down, baby. No wait, Boomin went down, baby. Big Baller went down last week. I was just taking so many people down. It doesn't matter. Sorry I had to go on that rant. Let's get back to it. Because I'm number 1 in that league now. You're just mad because I am. Let's go with Robert Woods.
Yeah, I am a little mad. We were tied, but I just got my butt kicked because I couldn't get a quarterback because everybody decides to go down and get hurt. Because if I had Deshaun Watson, it'd be still neck and neck. Deshaun Watson would be just dropping dimes. But enough with our rant. We'll get back to
You don't want this. You want Robert Woods on your team. Dang it, Trey. Can't believe you got him. Good job, Trey. It's a good pickup. But 8 of 10 targets, 171, 2 touchdowns, a 94-yard bomb. Caught by Jared Goff, dropped that in the dime spot.
It's crazy, dude. Jared Goff, and I love the fact that Jared Goff and Carson Wentz in both their sophomore years
Taking off.
Not just that, but they're not there talking a bunch of trash. They're not gloating. They're not,
Here's the thing.
being
Jared Goff
crazy.
could not talk trash. He had a terrible rookie season. But here's the pass. He also had Jeff Fisher as a coach.
True.
But he shouldn't have it. Carson Wentz had a good start.
Then dropped off a little
Then
bit.
dropped off. So he had his sophomore slump.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them basically had their slumps right away.
Right.
And guess what? The right coaches change everything.
It's crazy, dude. I love it, though. I love the fact that, Jared Goff looks like Ryan Gosling.
He does. I'm the one pointing it out. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll take the credit. It's always about me.
It is always about you, Mr. I stand when the veterans are getting appreciation.
Yeah. I wanted to
That's
know.
really messed up.
Nah.
It's alright. You're a terrible human being.
Might be.
Top 5 more. Sammy Watkins got involved again. 3 for 41 and a receiving touchdown. And he actually had a play designed for him on a screenplay that he got the touchdown on. So, he is involved. They're trying to get him involved. They're trying to work him in. So now that Robert Woods has shown up, Sammy Watkins is more available on the outside, going across the middle, doing small things. He's starting to be able to show his versatility now. So, that's good. This could be an uptrend for Sammy Watkins because they're trying to get him. He got a touchdown last week, touchdown this week. Caught one more pass than last week. He only caught one. But moving up. Cooper Kupp, 6 for 47, so doing the Dinky Dunk stuff underneath. But in PPR, that counts.
Does.
PPR, that counts.
Every little one counts, so.
And Greg Zerloin, still doing his thing, 17 fantasy points.
Crazy.
He's the leading scorer right now for...
It's because freaking
many other
Rams are just putting up points on people. It's awesome.
Word. Let's talk about Dallas, Atlanta. Let's talk Dallas first.
Yay. Let's do it.
Alright, so Dallas Cowboys, terrible. Dak Prescott played like
About
dude.
time.
Had 176 yards. Man.
They should not get the
And 42 rush yards with 1 rushing touchdown, 2 fumbles. Got sacked like a bajillion times. A bajillion and a half times, probably. I mean,
It's awesome.
without Zeke, it's a whole different world there.
It's awesome.
One game without Zeke and they just collapse.
Yep. Love it.
Made Dallas' defense look
Now,
like a bunch of bosses.
If you have Alfred Morris, he's probably going to be the lead runner.
He will be the lead guy.
So if you have Darren McFadden, probably most
He
likely
won't
drop
probably
him.
be, yeah. Rod Smith will be the other guy. If Alfred Morris goes down, it will go to Rod Smith.
Now, crazy how this plays out. Last week when Ezekiel Elliott was playing, obviously he got all the touches and he got all the touchdowns and all that crap. And I have Jason Witten as a tight end, as a second tight end. Only has like 1 catch, like 10 yards, 1 game. He has like 2 catches for like 20 yards. Like, he's not getting the love. But apparently in this game, let's give him 7 receptions for 59 yards.
You'll take that. You'll take the 12 points that comes out of that. So.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I had him in for one of my leagues, but I mean, at one of them I didn't have him in.
Stinks.
But I mean, it's like,
You know what else stinks?
keep throwing the ball to him.
He should. He's reliable. But Dak had no time to throw. So,
Sure.
go down to the Falcons. Matt Ryan. Also, 22-29, 215, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. He was just a game manager. That's basically all it was. So he played well. He was a game manager, made the throws he needed to make. Julio Jones still never gets any touchdowns, which is crazy. I mean, he never gets touchdowns.
He had an open one last week.
He did, and he dropped it. It was embarrassing.
First time ever.
Yeah, probably. But Tevin Coleman on 20 attempts goes for 83 yards and a touchdown. So basically 4 yards per carry. So not bad. You'll take that from Tevin Coleman. It's 15.8 fantasy points.
Now, well, obviously, we're going to give you guys the updates for tomorrow for the injury report because Freeman did go down.
He did.
So that's why his stats are for 2 attempts for 3 yards.
He could be down for a while with his next concussion. So because he just had one the week before. So they're going to keep him out for a little while. So if you have Tevin Coleman, fire him up. He'll probably be, close to an RB1, maybe an RB2, like, top 15 type player.
Definitely could be. Definitely. He's always going to be reliable.
Who's Atlanta play next week? Does it show?
Atlanta plays.
But speaking on that, so let's go down to Julio, since we were talking about a little bit ago. 6 of 8 for 57 yards. I mean, he still gets you 11 points. His floor is like 10 to 12 points, but man, you really want those touchdowns because if it's not the yards, you need the touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they play?
They play in Seattle.
Well, that was a good game last year where Matt Ryan actually showed up very well in Seattle.
Well, I mean, Seattle's hurting, especially on the defensive end. They're not going to have Richard Sherman.
Yeah, they could possibly do it. So, absolutely. Austin Hooper got involved. 6 of 6, 49 and a touchdown.
Interesting.
This has been... We expected him to do more throughout the season, but man, it just hasn't come to that yet. They just haven't gotten there with Austin Hooper. And I don't understand why.
Or with
he's a big dude, and he's not like lightning fast, but he's big and fast for a guy like
they got
him.
big guys. They got Sanu. They got Jones.
Julio. Austin Hooper's a tall man. I think he's only 6'3", but 6'3",
that's not so tall.
So.
I don't know. Matt Ryan's still kind of working the kinks, and I don't know. I mean, Matt Ryan should.
Well, they got their short guy, dude, Taylor Gabriel, who got involved, 3 of 58. So they got some rushing in there as well, I believe.
Yep.
So.
Which is overall a good win for them.
It
mean, they beat the America's team. Stupid.
Doo-doo.
Stupid.
America's worst team.
Exactly.
Giants. 49ers.
And what do you say about Ben McAdoo and that ownership? Giants are going downhill.
Giants are downhill. They're sitting down here right now because they lost to the team that has not won. There's only one winless team, and that's Cleveland left.
Mm-hmm. Now, Eli Manning. He put up fairly good numbers. 28 for 37, 273, 2 touchdowns. So, he gave you some good numbers, good fantasy points in a way.
Yep. He has 16, which is fine. Middle of the pack for fantasy points.
Yeah, you want to be able to.
Our league seems high though. See, our league, we get 26 because we have a little different scores. That'd be like 22 in our league maybe. So right, but in other leagues, 15 to 20 is actually on the high end. So this is not high end, but on the better end. So you'll take 15 from him, 16 from him. Excuse me.
Now, Darkwa.
Orleans. New Orleans.
14 attempts for 70 yards. He's going to be your number 1 running back for the Giants. Galliman, 3 for 22, and then it just goes downhill.
Nope, made me nothing. Because they also use Darkwa in passing a little bit, 2 at 18 yards.
Right.
So he is involved, even with Shane Vereen there. Shane Vereen got 4 of 4, 27 yards. And then with 11 rush yards too, nothing major there. But Sterling Shepard's the man you want to look at.
Yep.
13 targets, 11 receptions, 142 receiving yards.
Not bad whatsoever.
No, not bad. And he stepped into the role that he could have been this guy. If Odell wasn't there, he could be this guy.
Yep.
A very good receiver. They drafted him to be complementary to Odell.
Mm-hmm.
Someone where they can, if there's pressure on Odell, they can go to Sterling. He can make big plays.
Yep.
That's how Brandon Marshall's supposed to be. They're all supposed to be those guys. Injuries, obviously, dampened all that. But the opportunity is there for him now. Roger Lewis got involved. He got the touchdown, 3 of 4, 33 yards, and a touchdown. Bam, bam, bam. Evan Ingram doing his thing.
Yep.
6 of 9 targets, 31 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. Bam, bam.
Good stuff.
It is. Now let's go down to the 49ers.
What a
CJ
story.
Beathard. Oh, Beathard, I don't know how you say his name. Beathard, whatever. But had 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, 15 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. 25 fantasy points.
I mean, he's definitely making a name for himself before Jimmy comes in to take over. They even said he might even start after the bye week. So week 12, Jimmy might come in and take over.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know for sure since they got their first win. So Carlos Hyde with 17 attempts for 98 yards. He's always going to be beast mode out there for his team. Berea did show up a little bit. 9 attempts for 55 yards and a touchdown. So that is pretty good. Then you had the biggest story of the day. Marquise Goodwin. 1 attempt for 18 yards is rushing.
Yep.
But he had 1 reception for 83 yards and a touchdown. That biggest long catch. If you haven't seen it yet, go on YouTube, look it up. You probably already heard this story. But Sunday morning he had a child born. And then the child ended up not making it. And he ended up catching this 83-yard bomb. And then just got into the end zone and collapsed for his child. His whole team came over and just hugged him, and oh man, it was a good moment to see.
It was.
And I think it's because God was on his side, because when he made that catch and all that lifted the team to end up getting this win over the Giants.
It is. They put on a battle.
That's an amazing catch right there, man.
It is.
And then he just drops. It was amazing, man.
Pull it up on the screen, bam.
And then Selleck, the old guy, comes in 4 receptions for 67 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good.
Yep, in replacement of George Kittle, he actually stepped up and did his thing. CJ Beathard looked competent. And if that's the case, maybe they'll have some fancy value there yet. Now, let's go to the Sunday night game.
That was so bad. It's making me cough.
Sunday night!
Oh. That's just rude. That abuse. You see this? You see what I have to deal with every day? This is the abuse I get. It's annoying.
Is it the abuse you get, or is it the one you deserve?
Sunday night, what else could we talk about? The fact that the Broncos suck.
No, they're really good. I don't understand why you say they suck. Doesn't make any sense. You're rude. Please don't ever do that again. Tell me how good the Broncos are then.
Man, Brock Osweiler, 18 completions for 33 attempts and 221 yards, a touchdown, but 1 interception. Gotta love it. C.J. Anderson barely showed up in this game. 10 attempts for 54 yards. Jamal Charles, 8 attempts for 38 yards.
Yeah, forget those guys. Those are the guys that actually matter. Here's the thing. Those running backs, you're not relying on any of them. Do not start any of them. Forget about them. Now, going down to the receivers, who you can start?
Emmanuel Sanders. He actually showed up. 6 receptions for 137 yards.
Woo!
No touchdown though.
First game back, right? Second game back.
I think it was the second game. He barely played the first one.
Yeah, you're right.
Because of his ankle.
Word.
I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, still came back
Marius
balled up.
Thomas always showing up for his
Now.
team.
Yeah. With Brock Osweiler, he got the last 2 touchdowns. So.
True. Back-to-back games.
Yep.
5 receptions for 44 yards and a touch. So that definitely helps you out in fantasy.
Did. I already won that league, but it's fine.
True. But everything else, Typical Broncos.
Now let's go to the New England side of things.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, baby. 266 passing yards with 3 touchdowns, not a single pick, 25 of 34. They were so good, they let Brian Hoyer come in and throw 3 for 3 and 37 yards. They balled out. Woo!
Right.
And you got Deion Lewis rushing 14 attempts, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. He's the guy there now. Mike Gillisley, I don't even think he's suited up. I forgot about him. He doesn't even exist. Rex
Really
Burkhead,
doesn't.
10 of 36, so he's getting involved. He's getting some attempts and carries too. So waiver wire pickup, Rex Burkhead. I'll give you guys a list of the top ones at the end of the hour here. Not end of the hour, but end of the show. So now let's go down to receiving. Brandon Cooks, 674. How you mad at that? Yeah, it's not great. It's not like the high end that you could be, but it didn't kill your team. 13.4 fantasy points.
Right.
You were happy about that. James White getting involved, 10.8 fantasy points. Always figuring out how to be involved, getting a touchdown in the receiving game. He's always figuring out. He's good. Rob Gronkowski, 474. Should have had a touchdown. Didn't quite get the call going his way, but that's the way life goes sometimes. You can't be perfect, but you'll take what you can get. So,
and then Rex Burkhead again on the receiving end, 3 for 27 and 1 touchdown. So that's, like you said, definite pickup on the waiver wire. Definitely look up at the free agency, see if he's available. Drop somebody that you don't need anymore, get him, because he looks definitely involved. He's like Christian McCaffrey and a Chris Thompson out there.
Yeah, he's playing out the receiver, doing all the good stuff. So, high waiver wire claim, dude, if you need him.
For sure.
Now,
Go Monday night.
here's the game that screwed me. Alright? Now, my player did well, but not well enough to beat Cam Newton, who went from nowhere near on the stat sheet to all over the stat sheet here.
Yep.
Number 1 QB this week. Alright, I'm going to start with the Panthers, then we're going to go to the Dolphins. So, Cam Newton, 35 fantasy points. Balled out.
Crazy.
Absolutely. What was his stats there? 21 of 35. Well, he always has kind of a whack completion percentage, but it's kind of
could have had a better completion if his like you said.
Receivers dropped a bunch of passes
They
going in the
did.
first quarter. Oh my goodness. I mean, Curtis Samuel dropped some passes, and so did Russell Shepard. So that wasn't anything to be proud of. But they still made it work. They got it together. He threw 4 touchdowns, ran for 95 more yards, had a 69-yard run. Insane. That Cam is a fantasy win you the league type Cam.
Oh yeah.
With that type of level. Now you got Christian McCaffrey, only 23 rushing yards, but he did get a touchdown. And he got only 3 receptions for 27 yards, but again, he got another touchdown. Also, I played against both those people. 60 points between the both of them in our league. Garbage.
Just let you down. It's okay though.
Got destroyed. Thanks, Mike. You 1-18 now, 2-8. You're welcome. Another person who got involved came out of his pain because they're already up. They let him have a run, and he took it to the house, finished it off, man. So good for you, Cameron, out of his pain. Make the best of your carry. 7 for 68 to touch. You won't see much of that anymore, so don't bank on that. Jonathan Stewart, 17 attempts, 1-8 or 110. Best runs I've seen him have all season.
Well, Miami's just all sorts of
terrible.
Just everything is just.
They let 2 touchdowns of Marshawn Lynch. They're terrible.
And they let go of J.J. But
that's okay, because Kenyon Drake's shown to be very well. And we'll talk about him in a moment. But Curtis Samuel, he left with the ankle injury, so we'll give you an update there. But he's definitely probably out for a couple of weeks, at least. So that's probably good. But Devin Funch is the one you need to focus on. The new number 1. 5 of 6 targets, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a great screenplay. Had a good, I don't remember if it wasn't a bomb per se, but good deep pass I got in the end zone. And I was like,
still works.
Yeah, I was like, alright, well, this is where I know I'm going to lose.
Right.
So, but that team is, if they play like that, you have fantasy studs in McCaffrey, in Funches, in Newton, and every once in a while, Jonathan Stewart at the goal line.
What about Dixon? The tight end's getting some touches, though.
Well, here's the thing. You got the touchdown, you got some receptions, but guess who comes back?
Yep. Thinking about maybe at the end of this
Week
month.
12.
Yeah. So
that's when it's available to be on the field.
I mean, he's going to be able to practice the next couple weeks, so good for him. Greg Golson might come back, so if he's still sitting on your waiver wires, definitely try to scoop him up. Let him sit on your bench for the next couple weeks.
Word.
And then I would say about maybe week 14, kind of put him in, because
I'll probably start him if I need him.
you think so?
Yeah,
You think he's
he'll
gonna
be fine. He's
Be
interested to
good?
play. He'll be fine. He'll figure it. He'll be unconditioned, and his snap count will be in
Very
check.
low.
But week 13, week 12, week 13, he'll be fine. He'll figure it out. It's Greg Olson. He's been around this block before.
Sure.
He's a vet in the game. Now, going to Miami, we're just going to run through this real fast. Jay Cutler, 213, 2 touchdowns, YNT. I mean, this score didn't look good at all. A lot of that was garbage time. Kenyon Drake, 82 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, had a 63-yard run. I believe it was 63-yard, whatever it was. Good runs. He's definitely the explosive playmaker there. 2 targets, 2 receptions, 10 yards. Not much of the receiving game, but hopefully that picks up. Damian Williams just taking the backseat twice to Kenyon Drake. 19 rushing yards, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 20 receiving yards. Don't know why they keep putting them in there and starting them over Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake might be the home run hitter.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason that Damian Williams should be in there is because of pass blocking. That's it. That's all. Now, Jarvis Landry, 10 targets, 5 receptions, 42 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Cool, you're happy the garbage time to take that touchdown. Devontae Parker, quiet, but then got involved. 6 receptions for 66 yards on 9 targets, so 12.6 fantasy points. You'll rock that all day. Kenny Stills, 567. They're in throw mode, so their guys are at least getting looks, getting targets. They had to be, So Julius Thomas got a touchdown on short reception, little shovel pass. But he's getting involved now. So that's 2 touchdowns in a row.
Yeah, true.
So and that's important. And Cody Parkey, well, not important. But that is your Miami Dolphins. Now let's bring you down the list. We're done with the game recaps here, so let's bring you down the list of some of the top waiver ads for Week 10 going into Week 11. We got Jamal Williams, obviously, because Aaron Jones went down, and then so did Ty Montgomery with the ribs again. So he's going to be one of the highest waiver pickups this week. Rex Burkhead's going to be another one.
Yep.
Because of his play lately and his involvement in the offense. So long as he stays healthy, which has been an issue, he will be because he's such a dual threat, he'll be a good player. Dane Woodhead's back for Baltimore. I don't know what his involvement's going to be yet. But they do let the pass to the running back, so that might hurt Alex Collins if you have Alex Collins. It definitely kills Buck Allen 100%. So, I mean, he'll still get involved a little bit, but
Right.
you can basically forget about Buck Allen. Charles Clay's back for anybody who needs a good tight end. He looked good. He had a good catch this last week. Took it down like 40 yards or whatever it was, so good for him. Now, there's going to be, if Alfred Morris, Rod Smith, and all those guys are still available, you might, if you have Alfred Morris, you might have to pick up Alfred Morris and Rod Smith, because if Morris does go down, it is Rod Smith up next. So maybe you have a handcuff to a handcuff to a handcuff, because the also Zeke situation is also unknown.
Right.
So Marquise Goodwin, he's going to be the number 1 there in San Francisco. They got a bye coming up this week, but after that, it's back to playing. They're going to be playing from behind, and they're going to be hum-chucking it. So Marquise Goodwin's a good one for me. Now here's the Austin Eckler one. I don't know if that's going to be. That was a 1-week show up.
That's a tough one, yeah.
Melvin Gordon hasn't been affected, but he fumbled in crunch time, so they might stray away from him coming up to that, because Melvin Gordon is a more reliable running back as far as the hands, apparently. But Austin Eckler is more explosive. He has bursts that Melvin Gordon did not have, and they need to give him more breaks because his workload was too much for him to handle. So Austin Eckler will still be involved. It could be a flex play, running back 3 flex. So opportunities there with him. Corey Coleman's back in Cleveland. I don't know if you're a desperate receiver, maybe you look into what he has to offer as far as that goes.
Well, and they're also working with Josh Gordon too, right?
They are, but he's a little bit further out than that. So, but he is one of the high waiver pickups, so people have been going and grabbing after him, but we'll behold on that. And then Devontae Booker is another one that he may resurface in the top of his backfield. So those are some of the tops right now as far as like low owner percent, but could have some of the better upside as far as free agents. At this time, I know the waiver wire is picked pretty thin, but you might be able to find someone who can help you out. Maybe Bruce Ellington. I don't think so. I'm gonna forget about Bruce Ellington. Anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered most of the good ones.
Cool. Then here we go. Thank you for listening to another episode of Average Joe's Fantasy Sports Podcast. We appreciate you listening. Appreciate you tuning in, watching, being a part of our lives.
Yes.
Growing with the process, and we enjoy your guys and comment and feedback, everything we can get. Thank you. Adios.
Appreciate it.
We out.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Average Joe's Fantasy Sports Podcast. We're back at it again. We are your lovely hosts. You got Corey right here in this GOAT jersey.
Yeah.
You
I'm
got-
Jared. Y'all know.
And I'm Scott. You all know me.
Yeah, maybe.
And we're back at it this time to talk to y'all about injury notes, news, fantasy types. We'll even tell you basically guards, defensive players. I know it doesn't seem relevant, but it will be because